Somewhere in the Ionian Sea, a mountain island hides an underground lake lit by sunlight, a village balanced on a strip of land no wider than a road, and a capital where sea turtles drift past the harbor wall. Kefalonia is the largest of Greece's Ionian islands, roughly the size of a small country coastline compressed into one landmass of cliffs, caves, and pebble beaches. It was even the setting for Captain Corelli's Mandolin, and it's easy to see why filmmakers chose it. The 7 places are what separate a good trip here from an unforgettable one. Number 7. Thousands of years ago, parts of a limestone cave near the town of Sami collapsed, opening a hole straight through the sky. What's left today is a sunken lake, hidden inside a cavern where the water shifts between deep blue and glowing turquoise, deepening on how the light falls through the opening above. The cave stayed hidden from the modern world until the 1950s, when a local speleologist followed a trail of scattered pottery back to its entrance and discovered ancient offerings left for the god Pan, who was once worshipped here. Small wooden boats now carry visitors across the surface, guided by hand along a rope struck through the dark, passing beneath stalactites that took thousands of years to form. Around midday, when the sun sits directly overhead, a shaft of light drops straight down through the collapsed roof and turns the entire lake electric blue for a matter of minutes. A window that closes as quickly as it opens. The blue light effect is strongest between 11 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Visitors outside that window look noticeably duller. Number 6. High above the northwest coast, a switchback rock climbs toward a viewpoint that stops most cars before they even reach the beach below. From up there, Myrtos looks almost unreal. A wide curve of bright white pebbles pressed between 2 towering limestone cliffs with water that runs through nearly every shade of blue at once. It is widely considered the most photographed beach in Greece, and the color of the water alone explains why. The same scene has appeared on postcards, travel posters, and magazine covers for decades. The descent to the sun is steep, several hundred meters down a winding switchback road that levels out only at the last stretch before the shore. Down at sea level, the pebbles give way underfoot, and the drop-off comes quickly, but the payoff is swimming in water clear enough the seabeds several meters down, even without a mask. The viewpoint above the beach gets crowded by mid-morning. Arriving right at sunrise means an empty overlook and softer light for photos. Number 5. On the far side of the island, across the bay from Argostoli, a narrow road winds down through the Paliki Peninsula toward a bay most visitors never find. Petani carries the same dramatic cliffs and clear water as its more famous neighbor, but with a fraction of the crowds and scattering of tavernas built right into the hillside above the shore. The bay curves into a natural horseshoe, cliffs rising on both sides and framing the water so completely that the open sea barely seems to enter the picture. Evenings here draw quite a crowd. Most locals and travelers who have done their research, watching the sun drop directly into the sea from a table with a view straight down the coast, plates of grilled octopus and local wine going cold as the sky changed color. Number 4. On the northwest coast, a thin strip of land connects the mainland to a small forested peninsula, and the village of Assos sits right at that connection point. Pastel-colored houses cluster around the fishing harbor, cafes and tavernas lining the water's edge, while above the village, the ruins of the 16th century Venetian fortress spread across the hilltop, reachable by a walking trail through olive groves and pine trees. The fortress once housed nearly 2,000 residents behind its walls, built to guard against pirate raids that plagued this coastline for centuries, though today only scattered stone walls and an old prison building remain among the trees. From the fortress walls, the view stretched out over both sides of the peninsula at once, the harbor on one side and open sea on the other, with village rooftops laid out like a scale model far below. Number 3. Most of Kefalonia's coastline is pale limestone, which makes Sea Beach stand out immediately. Its sun runs a deep reddish-orange, colored by the clay cliffs surrounding just behind it. The water stays shallow for a long stretch out from shore, warming quickly in the sun and making it one of the easier beaches on the island for wading in rather than diving straight into deep water, which also makes it a favorite among families with young children. Sunbays and umbrellas line much of the shore in summer, backed by a handful of tavernas serving lunch just steps from the sun. Some visitors smear the soft red clay from the cliffside onto their skin before rising off in the sea. A local tradition said to leave skin feeling smoother, the red streaks washing away in the shallow water as quickly as they went in. Number 2. At the southwestern edge of the Paliki Peninsula, where the land runs south entirely, a small whitewashed monastery sits balanced on the edge of a cliff nearly 200 meters above the sea. Kipouria has stood in some form since the 18th century, rebuilt more than once after earthquakes that have repeatedly damaged buildings across this part of the island, and today it holds only a handful of monks living in near total isolation. What draws visitors isn't the building itself so much as what surrounds it. Sheer drops on nearly every side, open Ionian Sea stretching to the horizon with no land visible in between, and some of the most dramatic sunset views anywhere on the island. A small chapel and a handful of cells make up the entire complex, modest compared to the scenery that surrounds it on every side. Arrive at least 30 minutes before sunset. The narrow cliffside parking area fills up fast once the light starts to change. Number 1. Kefalonia's capital sits on a natural harbor at the southern end of a long, narrow bay, and daily life here moves at a noticeably different pace than the island's beach towns. Rebuilt almost entirely after a devastating 1953 earthquake leveled much of the island, Argostoli today makes wide pedestrian streets and neoclassical facades with a working harbor still lined by fishing boats each morning. The Petani Bridge, built by the British in the early 19th century, stretched nearly 700 meters across the bay, one of the longest stone bridges over water in Europe, and remains walkable end to end for anyone willing to make the crossing on foot. Along the waterfront promenade, cafes and fish tavernas open onto the harbor, where Loggerhead sea turtles are known to surface and swim right alongside the docked fishing boats, drawn in by scraps tossed overboard as the catch gets cleaned. A few kilometers outside town, seawater vanishes into sinkholes at the Catavotre sea mills, flows underground across the entire island, and resurfaces days later on the opposite coast as freshwater springs, a phenomenon that puzzled scientists for over a century before dye testers finally traced the route. The harbor near the fish market at dawn is the most reliable spot to see the turtles up close before the boat traffic picks up for the day. A cave lit blue by the midday sun, two coastlines of cliffs and turquoise water, a fishing village balanced on a strip of land, a beach colored red by its own cliffs, a monastery on the edge of nowhere, and a capital where turtles share the harbor with fishing boats. 7 places, 1 island, on a version of Greece that looks completely different depending on which coast you're standing on. That is Kefalonia.